Rocha has been a truck driver for 17 years.
We need to open the door to opportunity for everybody.
While he says there is a need for drivers, Rocha sees the logic behind the executive order signed by President Donald Trump on Monday.
If you can't read or understand a certain sign that's a little dangerous, it could affect all of us.
The new order requires truckers to demonstrate proficiency using the English language before getting behind the wheel. According to the executive order, proficiency means drivers can read and understand traffic signs and communicate with traffic safety, border patrol, and agricultural checkpoints, as well as others.
Es una ley inefasta.
It's an awful law, Yoman Rivera told me.
En mis 15 años como camionero.
In my 15 years as truck driver, I never had an issue with English. Rivera claims he recognized the signs and communicated with officers with his limited English.
First off.
But according to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, there are documented cases where drivers' inability to read signs and speak the language may have contributed to a series of fatal accidents.
We have to watch out for lives. I mean, that's most important, right?
It depends on how many people are affected and how many people decide to exit the industry because of this.
Rivera says he's already seen many truck drivers putting their trucks on sale. He also says the consumer is the one who will suffer. Rocha agrees.
It would affect the consumer by not picking up on time, by not delivering on time, or in between transit from shipping to receipt.
So Rocha has...
President Trump signs an executive order that's going to require commercial truck drivers to be proficient in English. God damn. What happens if they're not proficient in English? Apparently you have to pay a fine, and if you can't pay that fine, you lose your CDL right then and there. You have to pay the fine right then and there, or you're gonna lose your CDL. Forget about the people who don't speak English for a second, and let's just talk about the American people for a moment that are damn near illiterate. It's one thing that you can speak English, or when somebody's speaking to you, you can listen and understand what they're saying. But reading English in America and writing English in America is a whole nother beast of its own. And I question how many American truck drivers are literate. I wonder how many American truck drivers can actually read a book. I wonder how many American truck drivers actually write a paragraph. I think this is going to do more harm to the trucking industry than good.
Tonight, truck drivers who aren't fluent in English could be removed from the road. The president signed an executive order that would force drivers to pass English literacy tests, arguing it would make roads safer. Tonight, KENS 5's Rania Kaur has the perspective of Texas truckers on both sides of the aisle.
Eagle Pass Cecil Tucker helps operate a trucking company, delivering car parts and flatbed rocks from Mexico.
In my opinion, he's penalizing the Hispanic drivers from Mexico. Yes, there's bad apples in every bunch, but I mean, how come it's, my opinion, they're being singled out.
A new executive order signed by President Trump requires drivers to now be proficient in English, passing English literacy tests, or else they'll be removed from the road.
They can text English, they can read English, but they can't speak it, and they're penalized.
Tucker says they already have drivers who are quitting.
We're very small. We got 5 trucks right now, from 11 to 5. I've already had 2.
And it's going to limit the industry.
Who's going to pick up the loads from Monterey, Saltillo that are required to go door-to-door services to Michigan, to Kansas City?
While Tucker believes this is going to negatively impact the industry, the Texas Trucking Association has been pushing for these measures.
In a statement, the Texas Trucking Association said in part, President Trump's executive order restoring English proficiency enforcement for truck drivers is a necessary and common sense step to improve public safety on America's roads. Importantly, it is addressing the issue where it should be addressed at the federal level.
The United States is already short enough on truck drivers as it is. All right. I don't think this is fair, and I don't think, in my opinion, he's penalizing the Hispanic drivers from Mexico.
Tonight,
So now truckers are going through. Apparently, truckers have to take some type of English literacy assessment to be able to continue driving with their CDL. So let's continue.
Morning, everyone. Please come to the front so we can talk about the executive order that was signed in last night. Yesterday, March 1st, the Trump administration signed in designating English as the official language of the United States, and we desperately need to talk about it and how it's going to affect the school world. In the nearly 250 years that our country has been around, we have never had an official language of the United States. And I will say, even though there are hundreds of languages that are spoken in the United States, I believe that the majority of the world understands that English is spoken in the United States, but we've never had an official language. I think people are going to see this and they're going to be like, so what? We're just saying we speak English in the United States. That's not what this is about. That is not what this is. Do not be fooled by the headline. What this executive order does, yes, it states that English is the official language of the United States, but it removes an executive order that was placed in during the Clinton era. What that executive order said is if you receive federal funds, you need to provide English language services. So in the school world, what this means is now school districts can say, we no longer have to provide language support to our non-English speaking students. This executive order will harm children that do not have English as a first language inside their home. Schools no longer have to send a Spanish copy home to parents so that they can have an easier time understanding and knowing what's happening in their child's world. Schools no longer have to have an English as a second language program to help students inside the classroom, to help students learn to speak in English, write in English, read in English, listen in English. That is what I do. And it is very clear to me that they do not want to help any student that will not produce money for them as they privatize education. If your student is an English language learner, they don't want you because it costs more money to send your kid to school. If your kid is in special ed, they don't want your kid because it costs more money to educate your child. The amount of kids that are going to be harmed in this is absolutely overwhelming to me. The amount of teachers that now are on the chopping block of losing their jobs. Think about that. The community, do you think what I do is valuable? Helping people become better suited to go out into our community and communicate effectively? Why would we want to stop that? If English is the official language, why would we not want to help children learn English? Oh, it's because it's gonna cost them more money. Because they're privatizing education. This is what I have been talking about. This is what privatizing education means. If your kid costs more money, they don't want them. Go homeschool. You have a choice. So now your school district is going to need to look at their funding, and they are going to say, oh my gosh, we're already limited on funding because everything is being removed. So is this program, is English as a second language program worth it to them? Do we have the funds to support this program? And then we know we're going to have some school districts that are just like, oh, thank God it's finally here. We don't have to worry about those kids anymore. They don't want your kids. They don't want your kids. If you are seeing this, what you can do right now is you can support any non-family that is in your school building right now because they need you. They need to know they are not alone. Be kind to them. Befriend them. Help them right now. Everyone, please come.